Everybody, I'm Cricket Barrientos. I'm the founder of Sounds of Autism, and today we are on Spectrum Talks and Tips. And our awesome guest is Mayor Joe Pizzillo. He is the mayor of the city of Goodyear. So thank you, Mayor Joe, for being a part of today's Spectrum Talks and Tips podcast. And I would like you just to maybe share just a little bit about what your role is in the community, so that those that don't know you, or maybe they're looking at you from another country or another state, they understand what your role is with the city of Goodyear.
Well, as the mayor, we have a mayor-manager form of government, which means the mayor and our city council, we got 6 city council members. We only appoint 3 people in the entire city, okay? We hire a manager, an attorney, and a judge, okay? We're the policy arm. We direct the policy, give direction to our city manager, and they kind of run it, which means you've got actually professionals running the city. I personally like this form of government the best. My role, besides the policy arm, and I think it's real important, a role for any mayor of a city that's growing as fast as we are growing, okay, is to get out in the community and support positive community efforts that's improving the lives of our overall community. And that's what I try to do a lot of, whether it's in the schools, handing out awards, or actually feeding kids in schools and being in the cafeteria, or even on the, as I mentioned to you earlier before we started recording, even being on the board of directors for the Southwest Lending Closet, where we hand out medical equipment. I think that's what makes us a great community. And we're a community of volunteers, as you well know, Cricket. I mean, we have Make a Difference Day, where we'll have several hundred kids show up for community events. We have others, not just the city of Goodyear. We have, when we went through the Great Recession, and I think it was like 2008, volunteers started popping up here at the city of Goodyear to help us get us through those challenging times. And if you go to our spring training games, those people that take you to their seats, and they're all volunteers. That's our community. And I think it's very important, as mayor, to get out there and support those efforts. And I'm a highly supportive efforts of what you do out there as well.
We absolutely love you. The city of Goodyear has made a very big impact with supporting the mental and behavioral health community, especially under your leadership. Wally Campbell, I have to mention her, has also been instrumental in championing our cause. And to be honest, I could name all your city council members, because everybody has gotten behind what we do. You are both true responders of autism and others at risk. And others at risk, Mayor, we added that component 2 years ago when we realized that the tools that we have been creating for the autism population worked for individuals coming out of incarceration, building their confidence, getting them ready to integrate into society to be more successful. This time around, we have domestic violence victims. We're working with victim advocates throughout the West Valley, helping them integrate into society. And a lot of that education is actually coming from individuals with autism, showing them that you can do this if I can do this. I have a disability and we can do this together. How did you get your leaders to get behind you and this important cause, or these causes? You've mentioned so many already. How did you get your leaders to want to support all of the nonprofits that exist within the city of Goodyear?
I think it's the culture, and I think the people at the top are the one that have to set that. Okay. And first of all, everybody deserves a chance. Everybody deserves to be successful. And that's the kind of message we put out there. And the fact that we have a culture like that, I think is great. Now, I can't speak for other cities, but we work with our city council. I mean, yourself. I think it's real important. In fact, I don't know if you saw recently, there's Yvonne Wong. I think
Yes,
you know her.
I know her very well.
I helped participate in her and her graduation ceremonies with her kids the other day. Wasn't expecting anything, but she did give me an award for that. And the thing is to help the kids, because what I was really amazed of as I became mayor, how much people appreciate the mayor at their events. To me, it's just Joe, okay?
Yeah.
Just Joe, one of the guys, right? But if you go to any of these events, I don't know how many times to say, we really appreciate it. I was at a Eagle Scout presentation the other day, and only 4% of scouts ever get to that level. And I was just amazed at how many people thank me for being there. And it's like they appreciate you out there. So if you get your leaders out at these events, that's just going to promote the event even more. I'm going to be at the Tour de Cure that's going to be next month for the same thing, which is fighting diabetes. type of thing. And people appreciate that. So I think it's incumbent on the leaders, council, mayor, et cetera, to get the people to follow behind there and to recognize the importance that nobody gets left behind. I mean, nobody. Everybody gets a chance.
Well, and Mayor, I see you doing that in the community when I see Facebook posts and things like that. You know, Councilperson Laura Cano and all of them. Like I see you mentoring them, helping them learn what you learn, and vice versa. I'm sure they teach you a million things every day as well. So, we just thank you for being such a great peer buddy to your other team members and being a part of the community because not everybody does that. And I feel like being in the city of Goodyear, I don't see myself living anywhere else in the state of Arizona, to be honest, because it's been just such a great experience, and we just see a lot of positive things. So thank you for that. I believe a leader in your position has the power to choose. You can do a lot of things, and there's everybody knocking on your door. I know that day to day. I mean, it's hard to book you, right? But you learned your compassion to serve from somebody. When did that change in your life? Like, when did that happen? And it could have been when you were born. You're just naturally that person. But what was or who was that person that inspired you to really be a champion of your community?
As growing up, I think as my parents and my teachers had a lot to do with that, to be honest with you. And to me, I get so much out of it. I get so much pleasure out of doing that, helping others. It's just my nature, as you notice on Facebook. And I will try to get to everything possible. And Janet schedules that out here, my assistant. And if I can't get there, I'm trying to get a council member to show up at these events. Because as I mentioned earlier, I think it's so important as a leader and as your elected officials to get out and to promote, quality and promote the people out there in the city of the type of culture that we have. We are growing so fast. And our biggest challenge right now, which I want to do, is keep that small town feel. The only way we're
Yes.
going to keep that small town feel if I can keep the residents engaged. When we do events, when they see the mayor out there, if you don't, they will start to split, and before you know it, we've lost that small town feel. And that's why I try to spend as much time as I can out there, getting to as many events as possible. And you see me out there. Very seldom I ever turn anything down, unless, unfortunately, right now we are so busy that I may be checked. I just left a meeting to get to you. We get people being at two separate places at the same time, which makes it much more challenging. That's why the role sometimes of the vice mayor right now is so much more important, because in the past we weren't getting those demands as we are growing right now. But I think the leader sets the tone. And if you're going to do this job, I believe in any mayor's role, especially in the West Valley, you need to be able to have the wherewithal and the commitment and passion to get out there and promote your community.
We love that. Thank you. In 2025, Sounds of Autism presented you and the City Council with an award we call the Unified Responder Community Award. Now, none of you knew that this award was something that you were going to receive. None of you knew the rubric that was created to check off the boxes of the things that we were doing as a community. Now, we built the rubric with Maricopa Community College students and ASU students, and we came up with a rubric of how to measure the results of adaptive community and programs within each city. Now, we've been doing this all over the West Valley, including West Phoenix and Luke Air Force Base, for the last 5 years. When we completed the city of Goodyear, it was because your first responders, your educational leaders, your nonprofits, and your city programs became more adaptive to a level that we were proud of, that we knew we could encourage families to move to this city and they would be taken care of. And that is something that I can tell you, Mayor, I've been presenting since 2011 to families with disabilities all over the United States and sometimes even in other countries. And the thing that people say to me all the time is nobody understands. And I beg to differ today. I think that that's different, and we've changed that, and we've proven that that's become important to us. I'm going to give you a few examples. I worked with Litchfield Elementary School for many years. My kids went through public school from pre-K, all the way to, honestly, college programs. And the teachers, the superintendents, I mean, I can't say enough about Gina DeCoste, Mabel Paget Elementary. My son walked to school. He was able to do that because they had such a great community and they did everything they could to support us all the way till he got through high school. They got to Agua Fria High School District. My son had probably his hardest years with his mental health issues, and they did an amazing job. Today, Mark Eastlis, in 2020, Mark Eastlis and I met. We went on a drive. We talked about his new school that opened up, the Mavericks. And he said, Cricket, when that school opens, I am going to unify all of my high school districts. I am going to put kids with disabilities amongst general population, and there's going to be less of this inclusive classrooms where these kids are going to go and they're going to be hidden from population. And I said, you know how important that is, Mark? I work with the adults with autism. And I can tell you the ones that have been removed and now we have to put them back in, it's almost learning life skills at an elementary age. They're just learning. They don't know how to protect themselves. They don't know people. They don't know how to socialize. All these things that are important for them to be successful have been removed. So he said, I promise you I will do this. And he did it. And now he came to me just a couple days ago and he says, Cricket, we're building the top of the hill high school. And I am going to employ up to 35 students that graduate out of my school district in all of these different high schools. I have so many jobs, whether it's volunteer, internships, or they get paid. He said, and if they have transportation issues, I will figure that out. I promise you, and I commit to you that we will be the best unified school district out there. And I said, Mark, you will be on my podcast because there are a lot of people out there that are not doing those things. And he has the same heart you do. He has the same passion and compassion. Litchfield School District, same thing. Sam Nunez, superintendent, they're awesome. They want to make change. They want to be innovative leaders. And I learned this a long time ago when I started building curriculum for our students, that creativity and thinking outside the box is the highest level of someone's potential. And with these students and how intelligent they are, and the abilities to get them to their intelligence level by removing all the barriers has been awesome. I have artists, I have musicians, I have people that they are producing things you would never believe. Look at Elon Musk, the stuff he's doing. And people didn't maybe believe in him at one point in their lives. And look at them today. So I share that with you because it's been such a great feeling to know that we live in a very supported West Valley. But I know there's a lot of families around the West Valley that are very unaware of the things that are being done here because we get so wrapped up in just making sure that we take care of the needs of our students, and especially when they graduate. And now my son, 23, he's learning to be a man. He's learning to be an individual, independent. There's a lot of steps. It's very, very scary as a family. But I can tell you, with all the things that you've done as a leader, and your city manager, city council, mayors, police, fire chiefs, recreation center, ballpark, West Valley Mavericks, all of these people have pulled us in to work with them on adaptive programs and being unified. And you guys hit every single mark on that rubric without even knowing you were being judged. Those students were calling your office to make sure that you or somebody returned a phone call within 24 to 48 hours. You guys were doing those things and didn't even know you were being measured. Congratulations, Mayor, on that.
I appreciate that. And I'm going to tell you, Mark is a great guy. All right. And I can tell you, that's what makes this community great. You've got leaders throughout the community that are all striving for one thing, making this a great place to work, live, and raise your family at all levels. Nobody gets left behind. So, and again, that's what makes this a great community. And it's a challenge as we grow. I'm not going to kid you there. But as long as we get people engaged, and like I say, to me, it's so important. And we have some great West Valley mayors out here, okay, is to get out there in the community, okay, and support those. In fact, Mariah's run this weekend? I'm going to be there. Okay. I'm going to be kicking that off as well. I've been there the last several years doing that as well. So, and I think that's what makes this community great. And it's a shame, to tell you the truth. It's funny, I teach at an adjunct professor at several universities, and I don't get to do it face to face anymore, but I used to learn as much from the students as they would learn from me. I got to tell you a little story with that. You know how for ages, and I've got a few years on you there. Is as you grow up, everybody has their own little quirks, their own little things, and now the students they have these torn jeans, right? Holes. Some of them you're wondering how they ever got their legs through 'em. So I would sit there at the classroom, and the kids would come in, with the holes in the pants. I says, "What happened to you on the way to class? Did you fall?" And they'd say, "Professor, this is the," I know, I'm just messing with you. Okay. So, I mean, I just love sharing and I love working with the kids and I love getting out there in the community. And right now, I want to try to keep that small town feel. And I want to try to get it so that we still keep the community engaged, and the
Yes.
fact that we have this park right here in front of City Hall where we can have those events and we're building this walkable downtown right here where people can come enjoy and socialize and do their networking. And again, all for all people here. And again, as I mentioned before you started taping, I truly appreciate what you and I hear your new venture with Larry, on what you're doing with the warehouses and supplying fooding and clothing to people that in need. The thing that gets me the most, to tell you the truth, there's so much. If you turn your TV set on now and you had no communications with nobody, you just turn the TV set on and watch the news. You would think, what a terrible place this is. But we're not like that in Goodyear. There's a lot of good going on in this community, but it just does not get advertised. And that's somehow we got to figure out how to get that word out there. Because, the old saying, if it bleeds, it leads. That's how it shouldn't be. There's so much good going on. We need to get the word out there. And that's what I'm so proud about this community, because whenever we need anything, whether it's people to sit on a committee, whether it's people to go through our capital improvement plan, our general plan or a water race, we have no trouble getting people to
Yeah.
participate.
Yeah.
That's our community. So again, what you do and what Larry and you are doing now with the storing of all this for people to come in, free those in need. I mean, I've never seen that anywhere out there. I've never seen it covered in the newspaper. And it should be, because that's what this community is about, helping others and doing the right thing.
Well, and that location, so I want to, because the audience may not know, and I'm glad you brought this up. We have three DBAs doing business as under the autism umbrella, Sounds of Autism umbrella. And the reason I did it that way is because I didn't want to start three new nonprofits to cover our autism and at-risk families, our community leaders, our educators, our police officers. I said, let's just put it all under one umbrella and cover each role. So each person received an executive director position so that they could take that role and go with it. So I could just focus on the trenches. This warehouse has actually become a community training center where we have brought in people from the city of Goodyear. And I mean, they came all the way from Chandler, Spring Hill Suites, hotels. They wanted to learn how to be better at supporting the autism population. So they came in and we did a training session with them. Right after that, the next day, and I'm talking maybe 50 people came, right? The next day, we have another 50 people coming from Credit Union West. They want to make sure that they're doing, the needs, financial needs of individuals that need additional time. They want to make sure that they understand how to work with these individuals so that they don't have issues or they're not vulnerable when they're putting their money into their credit union. These are going to be things that we do because we know that we can support the families all day, but there's other people that play a big part in making sure that we can raise these kids the right way and give them a safe and secure environment. And when you get to that 17 to 18 transition, there is a lot of legal stuff that comes into play. And if these families don't do it right, and this child goes through crisis, there could be a very big problem. We want to make sure we catch all of those families before that time. We have the tools, we have the knowledge. We've been doing this over 15 years now in the state, but really in the city of Goodyear. So for me, how important, in your opinion, is a program like ours? Or you mentioned Ann from the Southwest Lending Closet. I know Ann very well. She will help my senior populations that we're working with, right? And she's an easy call away, and I know she'll answer the phone. How important are these types of nonprofits in your city?
Oh, unbelievable. It's a great resource. It's very, very important. And it's not just the one that I'm on the board. It's all over. We have volunteers. You look over in Pebble Creek, they have Care Bears do something very, very similar. Okay. Handing out. So to me, this is critical. to helping others. And like I said, it doesn't get the advertisement it should, but we have a great community out here that does step up. So if you talk to Ann and her volunteers, that is all volunteers. There's no
Yeah.
paid position in there. There are people stepping up to helping others. It's awesome that we have that in this community. I can't speak for other communities, but I really don't believe that there's anybody that has that kind of compassion and that kind of helping others that we do. I don't know if anybody does it any better than we do.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have multiple pieces out there. And I think that's great. And like I say, I try to get, and we have people on our council doing the same thing that's getting in here. And to me, that's what this role is all about. Yes, you have the running of the city. Yes, you have the policy, but it's much more than that. As
Yeah.
the leaders of the community, you need to get out and support those events that are trying to expand and broaden the great life of our residents, make their lives more important, make their lives better, make their quality of life to get to the highest it can possibly be. That to me is what our role is as important, is to get out there in the community. If you don't, you get a dysfunctional community. You'll get a community that's charred, that's separated, and just will not be functioning correctly. And that's why it's so important that we do this, especially now that we're growing so fast. If we don't, we'll lose that identity. We will lose that small town feel. So it's so important for all of us to be out there doing this.
Well, and Mayor, just so you're aware, we have also presented to the city of Avondale, the city of Buckeye, the city of Surprise, and we're getting ready to do the city of Litchfield Park. They have all met their rubric, uh, um, standards, I guess you could call it. And Luke Air Force Base, they had a little different of a rubric because they don't have the same, city council and all that type of stuff, but their leaders are 100% on board. They have their EFMP program, which supports all of those individuals that are raising a child with a disability. Luke is one of the places that people seek out if they have a child with a disability because they allow them to stay there and raise these kids and give them the best experience possible, and they really focus on the disabled population. So that's huge. We are working on Tullison, El Mirage, Peoria, Glendale, and West Phoenix. Those will be the next 5. And by the end of the year, our hope is that they will all hit their rubric marks. We will be able to present these, and then we'll have additional rubrics that we'll focus on. But to be honest, we just want to make sure everything that you've worked hard for, that even if you decide one day, which I know you're not because you're going to run, but if you weren't running and you were retiring, we want to make sure that whoever takes the position after you're done, that they are going to be following the same protocol that you have and ensuring that these individuals are not forgotten. And I know you'll make that happen. I know you will, and we really appreciate that. Do you know anybody living the life of autism?
Personally, no.
Yeah.
Okay. I come in contact when I do your events and when I do some of the other events out there and with Yvonne's events where I was handing out certificates for them. But personally, no. Okay. Most of my
And
contacts is with those individuals. I guess you could say that's personally because I have contact. That event that you saw on my Facebook page where we had Luke Air Force Base, we had state troopers, and we had, I think it was the Glendale police department there, in which Yvonne put on a nice fancy thing where they all got a nice certificate, for the awards that she does. There's another person I know that's very passionate about helping those individuals with autism and special needs class. And she's very passionate about that.
yeah.
But no, that's to me is helping others. And you know me well enough that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be this weekend doing the same thing. And that's, what I get great joy out of that. I really do, and I hope whenever I'm done with this job, that whoever comes behind me continues that role because it's real important, as I think, and my view as a mayor is it's all important, is you got 2 pieces of the job. You got the city job, okay? And then you have making your whole residence and your community, being a place to work, live, and raise a family, and everybody gets to get that uplift out there. And it's your job to get out there and promote that. To me, there's 2 pieces, not just one piece. If you're just going to come in to do the city function, you shouldn't be doing a job. That's
Well,
my view.
and
You
Mayor,
should be
thank you
doing
for
a job.
that. I agree with you. There's always going to be those extras. And especially being a nonprofit, we understand we have to be out in the community or we have to find a way to keep ourselves top of mind for people because when they need help, that's when they're going to come looking for us, right? And that's crisis. And just so you're aware, I love that you don't know anybody, or you're not that you don't know anybody, but you're not affected personally by somebody living with autism, because it shows people that you can have a compassion or a passion for someone even if it doesn't affect your life. Because sometimes people choose a nonprofit or supporting a nonprofit because it affects them personally. And you're not that way. And I love that, because it's 1 in 31 individuals in the United States, and these statistics were taken off of 11 sites, and they were basing it on 8-year-old children in 2020. So this isn't even an updated statistic. 1 in 31 individuals. That means in my neighborhood, just in my little cul-de-sac here, I know for a fact I have 2 individuals living here with autism. And that's going to affect the school systems. It's going to affect the families. It's going to affect the community. And it's going to, if they have some of the things that come along with autism, it could affect the first responders. So that's just 2 in a small little cul-de-sac here. We have thousands of people. So just imagine what that looks like. So just knowing that you have the compassion to serve, and it doesn't really matter what the cause is, you're just here because you want to support, that says, it speaks volumes. And I really appreciate that. So I just have one more ask from you, and then you can take the floor and share anything else you might want to. Is, will you just let the community know that you have become, or you are, a responder of autism?
Yes, and I've been at your event. Vaughn calls me regularly to try to participate in her. And I think I had mentioned to you before, to me, it's just Joe, just one of the people. Okay. What you see with me is what you get. Period. That's simple. But it means a lot to the people in the community when you're there supporting their event. And to be honest with you, that was one of the biggest surprises to me personally. I've been on the council for 3 terms, and when I became mayor, I was just surprised, and I shouldn't have been, but I was just surprised how much it means to the community when you're out there supporting their events. I mean,
Yeah,
it just means a whole lot to them. They want to get a picture, they want you with the kid, they want you with the parent, and it does. And that's why, I said it before, if you're going to do this job, that means a lot to be out there. People
yep,
want to see you out there and supporting them. They always call up Janet, can I get them there? And you know what? I don't turn anything down unless it's a duplicate. And
yeah,
then I try to make sure I have somebody there to cover the event. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's just who I am. And I'm just so passionate about this community. I care so much about this community. I want us to keep on the track that we're going right now. A small town feel, people helping others, people coming together as a community. I always like to say we're a community, just not a collection of neighborhoods.
yeah,
A true community works together meant for betterment of all. Collection of neighborhoods is just that. Of
yep,
walls, nobody talks to each other, and they go about their daily business. We're not like that. You got Estrella, you got I think it's 180 square miles with Mobile, but that's not who we are. Everybody
mhm,
steps up. We're our community. So that's what I want to take away from, and that's just who I am. You know what I mean? And I'm so proud of our volunteers. They save us hundreds of thousands of dollars. They step up regularly, throughout the community, and they really saved us when we had the Great Recession. They were working front desk. They came in and did all kinds of work. We still have some today doing some of that besides the ballpark, because they love their community that much.
Well, we appreciate everything you're doing, and I'm excited to hear that you're going to be running again for reelection. I think that you have a great momentum going, and I think your city council 100% just supports you, and I think your community supports you, and I know your first responders do. Your name comes up all the time in our educators, so that's a big deal. You've done a lot of hard work, and we're here to support you however we can. But thank you for taking the time today to meet with me and to be our first podcast interviewee. And if you need anything, please let us know, Mayor Joe.
Well, listen, it's my pleasure. You take care. And like I said, I mentioned earlier, keep up the good work. You're an excellent resource for this great city.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You take care. All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.